Hey guys, Reuben Williams here, founder of SportsGrad. Back in the day, I landed a job at Cricket Australia on the Monday after my final university exam. And then 3 years later, when COVID hit and my job was made redundant, rather than looking for work for months on end, I was headhunted into a role that doubled my salary. I'm not telling you this to brag, I'm telling you because there is a method to it. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. For example, Lucas Viana, one of our members, called the SportsGrad method a cheat code, and another member, Sasha Brahim, she called it magic. And honestly, I'll take that. Now, most people spend years trying to break into sport and never figure out why it is not working. And so the reason that this podcast exists is to change that. Every week, I'm going to share some real moments from real coaching calls that are unfiltered, unscripted, so you get a taste for the kind of work that has helped people land over 800 roles in sport and counting. If you're ready to stop guessing and start moving in the right direction and go after the career that you've always wanted, apply for the SportsGrad Method program at sportsgrad.com.au. Now, let's get into it. That's some really cool memories that we've got listed here, and I want you to hold on to that because, you know, whether it's your earliest memory or another memory that had an impact on you that made you fall in love with sport, I want you guys to kind of dig into that and keep that in mind because that is going to be one of the things that helps connect you with the people that you interact with in the sports industry. And the difference that this can make can literally be the final piece of the puzzle when it comes down to two equal people on paper. Because if you go for a job, let's say, Kelly, you know, you go on for this job at the Southport Sharks and they're looking at you versus another candidate, and on paper, you got the same degree, same level of experience, same set of skill sets, and maybe even they think that both of you would equally fit into the team on a similar level. Then they're kind of like stuck between, you know, who are we going to go with, Kelly or this other person? And Hamish McLaughlin said it best back in episode 124 of the SportsGrad podcast, where he said, you know, it just makes sense that if you can tell a story and connect with the interviewer, you know, their hand goes up when they've got to make a decision between one of two people, because your ability to connect with the interviewer and whoever else is across the desk from you can decide, you know, where their mind turns to when they have to make a split decision. So, you know, a lot of people overlook this because they think a lot of other things are more important, but this can be like the final 1 or 2% that can get you over the line because you were remembered. So this is the slide that I should have shared when I was speaking to that. But yes, exactly. Hamish McLaughlin said it best when he said this quote. And I'd encourage you to go back and listen to that entire episode because he speaks a lot about, you know, his experience from broadcasting and storytelling and how it can help your next job hunt as well. So now, one of the reasons why storytelling is so important and talking about why you want to work in sport is because people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So some of you might recognize this image here, which is the golden circle, which was made popular by a guy called Simon Sinek. And again, another great resource for you guys to look up is Simon Sinek's TED Talk on the golden circle and why people do what you do. Because every organization on the planet knows what they do, and these are sort of like the products that they sell or the services that they offer. Some organizations know how they do it, and these are the things that, you know, make them special or set them apart from their competition. But very few organizations actually know why they do what they do. And why is not about making money. That's a result. Why is kind of connected to a purpose or a cause or a belief, and is the very reason that your organization exists. So Simon explains the concept of this in relation to organizations, but if we take it and put it in relation to our own career, then the same sort of fundamental principles apply. People are going to hire you for why you do what you do. And if we think back to one of the fundamental questions that a recruiter is trying to answer, so number one is being, you know, can you do the job? Number two is, will you do the job? And that is inherently tied to why do you do what you do? Because you could have, like, you know, the best business development manager on the planet apply for a job, but if they don't care about the product or if they don't care about the impact of the organization, then they're just not going to do like the best job for the company. But if you find someone who's deeply connected to the product and deeply connected to the impact that that product can have or the industry, then you bet that they're going to feel compelled to put their best foot forward. So being able to share a story about why you do what you do goes a long way to answering the question, will this person do the job? Now, some of you may have read this book here, Sapiens, by Yuval Noah Harari, and basically it talks about why storytelling is so influential, because humans are storytelling animals. And if you've read the book, then you'll know that Harari basically kind of sits everyone down and says, like, hey, look, humans are not the strongest animals, they're not the fastest animals, yet somehow humans run the planet. And so how did we manage this? Well, it was through storytelling. And so he goes on to explain that humans are the only animals that can believe in things that exist purely in their own minds. And so our ability to kind of create shared stories is what let us build communities, build clubs, build codes, and it even goes on to explain how it is such a strong thing that it's led to, galvanizing, armies of people so the wars can be won, and so the religions can be started and nations can be formed. And so all things that only work because of people, all these things that only work because people have chosen to believe in them at the same time. And the reason that this matters to you is because, if a story is the engine behind our entire civilization, then imagine what it can do for your career. So when you tell a story about yourself, you are not just listing experience. You are inviting someone to understand who you are, and you are giving them something to believe in and something they can pass on when they talk about you internally, and something that sticks in their mind long after the interview ends. So if you think about, coaches or mentors or leaders you might have interacted with in the past, who had the biggest impact on you, they didn't just drown you in statistics and data. They probably told you a story that made these numbers come alive, and they helped you feel the meaning behind those different sort of moments or those different sort of teachings that they were trying to get across. And so that feeling is like what stays with you. And the feeling is a glue that helps ideas and people stick. So in relation to your career, if you want to stand out in sport and if you want to inspire someone to take a chance on you and get selected into the industry, then I'd highly encourage you to take a page out of Sapiens, because you can share all the data and facts in the world, but at the end of the day, stories are the part that are going to move people, and the people who are moved to take action, they're the ones who are going to get hired. All right, guys, that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed that and got something out of it. If you want to learn directly from me and other SportsGrad coaches who are working directly in the industry, then jump into the SportsGrad Method program. Once you're inside, you'll also get access to the entire SportsGrad Method curriculum that comes with a 90-day roadmap, so you know exactly what to do next. There is a step-by-step system to this. You do not have to think of what to do. We have thought of it all for you. Plus, you can tap into the SportsGrad network and get introductions to the people that might be hard to meet for you at the moment. Plus, you'll be surrounded by the wonderful SportsGrad community who are all helping each other get closer to their goals as well. So the results speak for themselves. Have a look at the website if you want to check it all out, but we'd love to see you inside and receive your application. See ya.